up, sinners? Welcome to the ZOpium Den, the house of the anti-fuddy-duddy Bible study. CJ and I welcome y'all to the study party.
Yes.
And hopefully I'll be showing up at some point too. You guys go ahead and get started without me. I'll be here in a minute. Oh man, you know I don't want to start off with some butthurt, man, but dang, man, that insomnia just came on me, and I got a lot of stuff that I had to do. Like yesterday, hey, we all got a lot of stuff to do, right? But man, when you got that insomnia, you got some like laborious things you got to do, man. I'm like out there trying to work on these, for lack of a better word, like landscaping, just like doing some some yard work or whichever way you want to, and. So I've been doing this for a bit, and if you're not getting enough sleep, man, you don't recover.
Yeah. Man,
that stuff will tax you. And I had some stuff that I had to do today also, trying to get things looking, right and tight and whatever. And but man, if you don't get some sleep, and I was doing pretty good, this past week, And I look, and here's the thing about insomnia, man. Here's the thing about insomnia. It's like hiccups. And it's like hiccups because you're stuck with it until it's done, right? And the other thing that's like that makes it like hiccups is that everybody's got a remedy for it, and none of them work.
Yeah.
But it's not like you don't appreciate people trying to help and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Man, you need to do this, you need to try that, and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, yeah, maybe that works for you. That might be a tried and true method for you. It's not. It's definitely not a catch or a one-size-fit-all remedy, and you be trying like different things and stuff like that, and that stuff don't seem to work. However, what I have found for this past week, I did pretty good.
You did great.
Yeah, I was sleeping good, and the answer was like, right over our head the whole time. Is I was just like, hey man, I'm just gonna try it. I'm just gonna do it. And I would go out and I would gaze at the sun for about, not directly into the sun, but like in the vicinity of it, right? I don't stare like directly at the sun, but like kind of look, at the halo of it. You get the warmth on your eyes, right? Yeah. So, as the sun just is breaking that, horizon, I get out there and I stare at it for about, 21 seconds, like at the halo of it. And yeah, I slept well. So it's, but this last couple of days, it's been really cloudy. And I go out and I try to gaze at the sun, and it's like I can't even really tell where it is, and I can't feel the heat, on my eyes. And so I'm not, if you're going through insomnia and stuff like that, I don't know if it'll work for you. It has helped me. Yep. Right?
It has helped me too.
Is that, there's another testimony for you, right? But that's, for us, looks like that works pretty good. It's nice to not have to chug ZQuil
right.
And do different concoctions, ZQuil, chamomile tea, and some valerian root, and some melatonin, and some what's that? Theanine was theanine and tryptophan and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
GABA.
GABA, all that stuff, man. And it's like
all the evening time, sleepy, relaxing neurotransmitters.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes, and it's like I be. The other thing that sometimes helps is read. I'll go into the scriptures and I'll read. The only thing is I don't want to wake I don't want to wake CJ up. So I don't want to be fidgeting with my phone and the glow of it and all that sort of stuff.
You can dim your screen. Have you tried dimming your screen?
Yeah, I dim it. Sometimes it'll still wake you up sometimes. So I try to avoid doing that. I'm just like, like this and and she's a super light sleeper, so I don't want to get up and stir, and I'll just get up and I'll do some stuff. But I tell her, she's like, I don't mind, but I feel bad. It's like because she needs sleep too, and so I don't want to do it. But at any rate, y'all, so forgive me if I'm like extra weird.
Oh no.
If I'm extra weird or spacey or whichever from this insomnia that has caught back up with me. I caught me some. No. It was cloudy. It was cloudy today too. I didn't catch the sun, so.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they call it seasonal affective disorder, because you need the sun, to make vitamin D to keep you healthy and happy. And also you need it for sleep.
Vitamin D, as in doze. So if you're not getting any of that vitamin doze, I guess you just ain't gonna sleep, you know. And but anyway, I've got my backup. You know, I'll go ahead and try the stuff. You know, that's a hit or miss. ZQuil's got like a new. I've got the store brand because I saw the store brand first. but yeah, I went in and I guess ZQuil's got like a blend now. They're doing like a melatonin, theanine, and GABA blend, right? It's a special blend, and try some of that tonight, and maybe a glass of wine. But it is like, it doesn't have it's basically the ZQuil is the liquid Benadryl.
Yeah.
And so it usually works more than it doesn't, but sometimes, it doesn't. I'm like, man.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't, and you just have ZQuil in your system.
Right? I take a whole shot of that stuff and be like, nope, that stuff don't work. Sometimes it's fun. Like I got one of them, the soda streams, and I'll take like some ZQuil and I'll pour like some bubbly and make a soda out of it. Have like a ZQuil pop. It's kind of fun.
Remember when we had that really bad cold and you made us a NyQuil soda?
Made us some NyQuil pop, man.
We're sounding really bad right now.
Right?
You were just trying to make it go down better for me because I didn't like the taste at all.
NyQuil does taste interesting.
Yeah.
May not be her cup of tea per se,
No.
but yeah, we made it fizzy.
And it did help.
Right? Yeah, that's some NyQuil soda. All right. Yeah.
I think your theory was also we were so sick, and I kind of had tummy rumbles too because we were so sick that it would help with the tummy rumbles too.
Did I? I don't remember. Oh man, I would have remembered that.
At least with me.
I get so freaked out and nervous, man. If I feel like nauseous, I'm like, oh no, I feel nauseous. I start acting like a cat. I don't wanna. Like we have a Disco Zsa, man. She's a total drama queen when it comes to doing
I've never seen a cat like her.
Ball. Right? She's she's like a coyote. It's like, and then she starts doing this thing. She starts moonwalking.
Yeah,
right?
she does.
She starts walking in a circle backwards. She's like, girl, quit, man.
She becomes really cold, like cold to the touch. She starts trembling, and then she'll yowl, and then do her moonwalk.
Yeah, and then
but she is a long-haired cat, so there's a lot to get up.
Yeah, so she's like it's like, dude, did you just have another kitten? Did you have a kitten? What is that? It's like, dang, ain't never seen a log like that. Cripes. Anyway, sorry, y'all. Thank you for bearing with me as I, shared, in my experience here in Insomnia's Anonymous. And I am Insomnia. Hi, Zoe.
I'm an insomniac.
Thanks for opening up and sharing with us. Can you get to the word now, please? All right, and we will. So let's go ahead and get the real life of the party on. I've been hearing enough of my jaw jacking and butt hurt and all that sort of stuff. Let's get our high priest and king and the Holy Spirit in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Father in heaven, in Yeshua's name. Thank you so much for blessing us with this study and fellowship, Lord. We're trusting you, Father, to help us to make this study a blessing to you, Lord. Help us to say what's right in your sight and wise in your eyes, Lord. Be influenced by nothing else, not our sentiments, not our self-righteousness, no other influence or anything like that. Just straight, pure truth from you. Help us speak in school with you. Help us honor you, Father God, and do nothing to steer anybody wrong. That everybody in here is just as interested in your truth and your word and are studied up and trained and are being trained up themselves also, and that we just come together to bring to the table and fellowship in your word, Lord. So help us to do that and help us to make our study a blessing to you, Lord. Thank you so much, Father. And for y'all, our ZOpium denizens, our study buddies, the Lord's fortification, his shalom, his joy, his love, and his blessing to y'all. And let's be effective salt and light fruit for his glory, y'all. May his resolve be with you and get you through anything that you're going through. And let's always trust that he's got it worked out.
Yes.
And we stay motivated to stay on his frequency. In Yeshua's name.
In Yeshua's name.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, y'all. Man, I got something in my eye.
Uh-oh.
And it's driving me nuts.
Probably a cat fur.
It might be. Disco, we need to have a talk. It's got me, man. And it seems like the more I try to scratch at it, the bigger it gets. I don't even know. Yeah, it's like something's in there, man. And when we're finished with this study, man, I'm gonna go fish that thing out and I'm gonna set it on fire. That's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, okay, so we're at what is it? 2 Thessalonians. We're gonna read two. There's a lot of stuff going on in here in 2 Thessalonians. There's a lot of stuff in all the chapters, man. But you know, sometimes some chapters a little bit more than others.
Can you tell me what page in our Bible, because my bookmark fell out?
Oops. In our Bible, it's going to be 13:13.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to pick it up, y'all. 2 Thessalonians 2. Pick it up at verse 5. Let's read to 8. We got, don't you remember? Don't you remember, baby? Don't you remember that when I was still with you, I was telling you these things? Not really, Paul. But I mean, maybe they do, but you know, we weren't in on that conversation. But as I said before, y'all, we have to know that whatever Paul was discussing with them, it has to come from the top, whatever he was discussing with them, okay? But anyway, and you know what now holds back from him, say that again, and you know, now what holds back from him to be revealed in his own time? For the mystery of lawlessness is already operating, only there is one who holds back just now until he is taken out of the way. Then the lawless one will be revealed. The Lord Yeshua will slay him with the breath of his mouth and wipe him out with the appearance of his coming. Dang. All right. So what do we got here? So the thing, and like I said, y'all, we've been talking about this for a couple lessons now. So we're still on it. All right, picking up where we left off. And the thing we're still trying to get down to, is who the man of lawlessness, who is he? Okay, who is the man of lawlessness, and what or who is keeping him from being disclosed? So I think a lot of people, if I may, I think a lot of people misread this and think that the man of lawlessness is being restrained. The man of lawlessness is being restrained. And then something is going to be taken out of the way. And many believe this restraining force is maybe the church, for example. Like, I guess when the rapture happens, then he'll be revealed, or whichever. Okay? Not saying that it's not,
Right.
I want to offer a different angle here, if I may. Bear with me, please. So, and also bear with me for being a sloppy host. Thank you if you're tuning in on the YouTubes, on the website, or on Facebook. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If I'm not, please, I don't engage in the chat much because I'm trying to stay on point with the study, but please know that I'm very grateful that you're here. I check out the comments and stuff like afterwards. By all means, hit those like buttons, share buttons, let your friends know, your family know, people who get on your nerves, all that sort of stuff. Hit the subscribe button. It won't hurt. Maybe we'll glitch the algorithm or whichever. So those things would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, please share.
If you value this content, and as I say, if you value this content, I would definitely value your support. So all that to say, thank you guys for being here. Hope that y'all get something out of this study party that we're having. We were told there'd be punch and pie. Okay, so
Next time.
Maybe, no, we ain't gonna promise that. All right, so anyway, so now maybe, but let's clear up the first part. The man of lawlessness is not restrained at all. As far as what I've read, if you read it, maybe you picked up on the same thing. That's the man of lawlessness is not being restrained. Lawlessness is operating at large, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
So the man of lawlessness doesn't appear to be restrained. I think a lot of people think that the man of lawlessness is restrained. It's not the man of lawlessness being restrained. Okay? What's held back is his identity. That's what's held back. People talk about shadow governments, the Illuminati, deep states, Masons, all that sort of stuff, secret societies, running everything. Well, there probably is someone, well, the word says that there is, but in this instance, could it be something like this? Maybe somebody who is a one-man wrecking machine? He probably designed it to where people are so hung up on thinking about things like the Illuminati and these other shadow societies or secret societies and stuff like that and whatnot to keep the focus off himself. Works great for Democrats. Democrats are always putting attention on other people to keep the focus off themselves. That's why they call themselves the Invisible Empire, all right, particularly in the KKK, the Invisible Empire. That's how Democrats make themselves invisible, by keeping people focused on other things. Okay? So, but I would say that's what's really held back, according to what I'm reading in the scriptures. Mm-hmm. I don't want to make it about just what I'm reading. I'm asking y'all, is that fair? Is that a fair observation? So it's the identity that's what's being held by, not so much the effects. Okay, not so much his effects. And there is one keeping the identity of the man of lawlessness hidden. The man of lawlessness works in mystery. And there is one guarding that mystery. When that agent is taken out of the way, the identity of the man of lawlessness will be demystified. So the one guarding the mystery of the man of lawlessness is a mystery himself. Yeah. So the clues, we have are that he is an individual. It's not an organization. It's one man guarding the identity of another man. All right. So I think it's more of a futile effort to try to figure out who the man of lawlessness is. The word says his identity is guarded. Who are we to go against Scripture? All right. So I reckon the identity, I guess it could be figured out, but to figure that out may take finding out or figuring out who the keeper of his secret is. That's really the one Paul says is known to us. Paul says, you know what's holding the man of lawlessness identity back, and refers to this keeper as a who and a he. One man. Okay? So now perhaps we can solve the mystery of what's known to us, or what's supposed to be known. As we said in the previous study, hey, Paul, you're saying that this stuff is known to us. We weren't in on that conversation, but this is what we do know. I can't express this enough. I might even say it again. Whatever Paul was discussing with them is in the Tanakh. He can only have the discussion based on that. He can't go outside of that. All right? In his ordinance, this is what he has to operate. These are the perimeters that he has to operate with them. Whatever he was discussing with them is in the Tanakh. So we didn't necessarily have to be there for that conversation. We have all the elements at our disposal in the Tanakh. Okay? So we have our source and can extrapolate what that conversation was. All right? So now, we can maybe we can solve the mystery of what's known to us or supposed to be known, because like I said, we got the pages for it. That being the identity of the keeper of the lawless man's identity. Now, I myself, I'm still working on that. So some believe that the restrainer is the Holy Spirit, and as I said before, or maybe the church. If the restrainer is the Holy Spirit, it would seem that capitalization would have been employed. I've looked at several translations and capitalization is not used. The church is a plurality, but the language used concerns one male. The restrainer is one man. One man is keeping the identity of the lawless one unidentifiable. From what it looks like, it reads, as far as I can tell. So what candidates do we have as a restrainer? Let's take a look. Paul himself. Paul was taken up in some manner to meet with the Lord and was given classified information. Okay. Now he sounds like he knows who the restrainer is, right? He's talking about it. He's saying, you know who it is. If he's telling them that they know, he's got to know, right? So he sounds like he knows who the restrainer is. And Paul has spoken of himself in third person before. Like in 2 Corinthians 12, 2 through 4, which says, I know a man, right? I know a man in Christ who 14 years ago was caught up to the third heaven, whether it was in the body or out of it. And if you're new and you're wondering what third heaven is basically the metaphysical state. All right, the spiritual state. First heaven is what's in the earth's atmosphere. Second heaven would be beyond, or space where the celestial bodies are, outer space, if you will. Third heaven is heaven. All right, so you have two natural environments of heaven. Two natural environments of heaven. Like I said, that being what's within the earth's atmosphere, what's outside of the earth's atmosphere, and then heaven, like what's outside of nature. Okay, so that's, if anybody's wondering, like, what do we talk about when we talk about third heaven? So whether in the body or out of it, I don't know, but God knows. Was caught up to paradise is what Paul is saying. I was caught up to paradise. The things he heard were inexpressible, things that man is not permitted to tell, classified information. All right. So the same way Paul was speaking of himself as another person, could Paul be speaking in the same manner concerning the restrainer? And who has this information that he is not permitted to disclose? Right? Now, we've done a study on this before from another angle of why Paul is not permitted to do, but this is where we're trying to, in this situation, we're trying to figure out who is this restrainer? And we're kind of vetting Paul right now.
Yeah.
All right, vetting Paul. So Paul says, for the mystery of lawlessness is already at work, but the one who now restrains it will continue until he is taken out of the way. So maybe he's like saying one now. Right now, maybe he's the one commissioned to do it now. Maybe there was a one commissioned to do it before. Maybe it's his time now. I don't know. Right? But again, was Paul referring to himself? Paul has been taken out of the way, hadn't he? Now, I can't say I know when the revelation of the lawless one's identity would be revealed in subsequence. I don't know. Immediately after Paul's execution or 1,000 years afterwards. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? So we're supposed to be in the last days. We've been in the last days for how long? We don't know how long that's supposed to take.
Too long.
I know, right? So Jesus, come on, can you come get us? Right? But sometimes things may take a long time. So could it have been Paul? So was Paul saying that he was the one who was now assigned to be the one holding the identity of the man of lawlessness? You know, that's of course if Paul was the keeper of this mystery. I don't know. We're scrolling through candidates, y'all. I'm not making a conclusion, if you will. Because of course, you know, we're gonna run into some snags here in my speculation, in my theory. You know, we're gonna run into some snags. It says the mystery of the lawless one is already operating. But then it says the coming of the lawless one. Oh, all right. So at this point, I guess he hasn't shown up yet. So maybe it's not so much that Paul knows who the man of lawlessness is, but knows who it's gonna be. You know, maybe he's got some prophecy going on here. I know who it's gonna be. Once again, I was caught up in third heaven. I was told things that I'm not allowed to repeat to you. But at the same time, he says, you know who it is. So I don't know. Maybe that wasn't the classified information he was given. Just got to taking y'all through my thought process here. So, and of course, we want to hear yours. Bring it to the table, baby. What you got? What you got? Okay. So, now we just read the coming of the lawlessness, the coming of the lawless one will be accompanied by the working of Satan. 2 Corinthians 12:7 says, because of these surpassingly great revelations, so to keep me from becoming conceited, Vogue, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. And we've done a study on that too, and that's definitely another angle. But we're coming from this angle, this context, to see, hey, Paul, might you be the restrainer? Don't know. Let's just read on and let's see what we get. You know, so again, I ask, was Paul the one who was given the revelation of who the man of lawlessness is, or who he's gonna be? So okay, so there's like, you know, my observations about Paul, you know, some things to say, okay, maybe, or some things to say, nah, man, there's some snags in your theory. So what about Daniel? Let's move on to Daniel. Seems like another good, you know, candidate. Daniel was given information that he was told to seal up. So like here in Daniel 12:4, but you, Daniel, shut up these words and seal the book until the time of the end. Many will roam to and fro, and knowledge will increase. Well, we must be in the end times then, because whatever Daniel was told to seal up, we just read.
Yeah.
Okay, so that information has been declassified since over 2,000 years ago. Daniel was told, that's why I say, man, have we been in the end time? We've been in the end times for a long time, right?
Yep.
Daniel was told to shut these words up and seal the book until the time of the end. Shut up and seal what words? These words. At that time, Michael, the great prince, who stands watch over your people, will rise up. There will be a time of distress, the likes of which will not have occurred from the beginning of nations until that time. But at that time, your people, everyone whose name is found written in the book, will be delivered. And many who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake, some to everlasting life, but others to shame and everlasting contempt. Kirk Cameron. We say that in love.
Everlasting.
Everlasting. All right. Stay tuned, folks. All right. And Kirk, I hope you catch wind of this study, man. You need it. You need it, cuz. All right. We invite you to come party with us, man. Mm-hmm. So, everlasting contempt. Then the wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness will shine like the stars forever and ever. But you, Daniel, shut up these words and seal the book until the time of the end. Many will roam to and fro, and knowledge will increase. So we just read that Daniel was told to shut up and seal. Seal that information, that information was supposed to remain sealed until the time of the end. How are we able to read that information that's supposed to be sealed until the time of the end unless we are in the times of the end? And that information has been unsealed. All right? The time of the end has been in effect for over 2,000 years. Oh, and by the way, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were supposedly, or actually, sorry, not supposedly, but supernaturally kept alive from certain death. So, knowledge, and take that for what it's worth. Knowledge has definitely increased. We've been in what's called the information age since the 20th century. It was a huge leap in transmitting information and then accessibility of information. Notice, y'all, notice it says knowledge will increase, not wisdom.
Yeah.
There's no splitting here. I mean, sometimes the words are interchangeable, depending on the context. But knowledge and wisdom are definitely distinct. Okay? But knowledge is what's going to increase, not wisdom. Despite all the resources we have to make us more informed and knowledgeable, the world is getting worse, y'all. Due to the lack of wisdom. Why? Because people value being educated over being disciplined in the Lord. Fear of the Lord, y'all, is the beginning of wisdom. People associate knowledge with power, folks, and people want to feel empowered, don't they? They ought to be out there talking about, speak truth to power and all that stuff. They're the ones who want power. They want it. And they feel more powerful when they see those who are powerful, quote unquote, powerful, brought down. They feel empowered by that. Doesn't really help them at all, but they feel empowered by it. So like I said, people associate knowledge with power. All these people who claim to hate the powerful, are the very ones who demand to be educated. They want to be educated, and they want to be educated for free, right? Because they want power. They want as much access to power as possible. Okay? So they want to be educated because they feel empowered by it. They think that their salvation is being educated. They think that their salvation is being knowledgeable. And they associate the salvation with power. Right? As it goes, knowledge is power. And they're sold on that. Okay? So they want power more than they want God. That's a fact. All right? They want power more than they want God, so the wisdom doesn't increase. The knowledge increases. Sure, the technology is advancing more and more to have access to gain more knowledge. All right? The technology is advanced to a point where the technology itself is called intelligence. Making to where becoming wise is less and less likely because people are relying on technology to gather records of experiences to process as its own thoughts, to add to its semblance of sentience, you dig? For people to inquire of in their pursuit of knowledge. These become their oracles, y'all, and counselors instead of the counsel of the Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? So again, knowledge increases. but not wisdom. So AI, y'all, is being looked to for counsel. People are going to college. I want to go to college. I want to be, but you're relying on AI to do their papers. You're relying on it to put their resumes together, interviews and proposals and all this sort of stuff, rather than relying on the Lord, who blesses us with the creativity and ingenuity and innovations and things like that to be able to express ourselves. Expression is becoming cookie cutter, man. It's relying on a machine to do it, right? So AI, man, and AI is basically becoming a form of technomancy. People are looking at, assuming that AI can animate images and be like some sort of media mediator between the living and the dead, giving you thoughts that they might have had, right? People use these sort of things for closure. All right, like I said, it's gone from necromancy to technomancy, but it's all rooted in the same thing. Mm-hmm. You know, but check it out. Scripture already talks about this, y'all. Isaiah 8:21. When men tell you to consult with mediums and spiritists who whisper and mutter, shouldn't a people consult with God instead? Why consult with the dead on behalf of the living? To the law and to the testimony, if they do not speak according to this word, they have no light or dawn. They will roam in the land, dejected and hungry. When they are famished, they will become enraged. And looking upward, they will curse their king and their God. Then they will look to the earth and see only distress and darkness and the gloom of anguish, and they will be driven into utter darkness. Y'all, the more people assume to be illuminated by how much they use AI, the darker the world gets. Right? And on a side note, y'all, when it says, people are trying to talk to the dead, nobody talks to the dead. Necromancy it doesn't allow you to talk to the dead. The only thing that you will be talking to is a fallen angel impersonating the dead. That's it. And that's all these people are deceived into communicating with.
Familiar spirits.
Yeah, familiars. Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody communicates with somebody who's deceased. All right, but you will definitely have familiars, demons, fallen angels who will impersonate. Right? So, and that's, if you read the whole Bible and you put that together. All right, that comes together. So, like I said, the more people assume to be illuminated by this AI, the darker the world's going to get. The world's been getting darker as far back as since Cain murdered Abel. That's how far back that goes.
Yep.
But now, how can it be getting darker when we're supposed to be illuminated by the pursuit of knowledge? The pursuit of knowledge, y'all, is what brought in the darkness, because knowledge was valued over God and life. There's nothing wrong with valuing knowledge, y'all. Nothing wrong with it. Knowledge is valuable. But if you value your pursuit of knowledge more than God, we're going to have problems. Here's the tree of life. And here's the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Which one do you want to eat from? Right? But by the way, you'll die if you eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So I recommend that you don't. All right? Heck no, man. Give me that no fruit. Give me that. Because knowledge is power. And I'd rather die for knowledge than to live for God. That's been humanity since the beginning. I would rather die for knowledge than live for God. All right? Why? Knowledge is power, y'all. That's what people associate knowledge with. So, again, and it's like, dude, did you forget that God is the omniscient? He's the all-knowing. All right, he's the all science. If you know God, you trust me, you know all you need to know. You know what I'm saying? And God will guide you through your education process. You want to have that foundation. Man, get out there, get educated, man. Get your knowledge. But don't value it over God. Build your knowledge on the foundation of the Lord. Build it. He wants us to be intellectual. He wants us to be smart. All right? But if you're using it for your own personal, endeavors and all that sort of stuff, it's going to go sideways. And we just contribute to evil in the world. So again, it's not about a prohibition of being knowledgeable. It's about valuing being a know-it-all. But it's about these people valuing being a know-it-all over the one who actually does know it all. But I also consider this in my examination of Cain or Daniel as candidates. Is the man of lawlessness and the Antichrist the same? Are those names interchangeable? Are they different people or whichever? And as I've posited in a previous study, it's like, we talk about are the Antichrist, the man of lawlessness, the beast, and all that. Well, you got to figure out which beast. The first beast, the second beast, which one? Are they all the same? So let's check this out from Daniel 8:23-25. In the latter part of their reign, when the rebellion has reached its full measure. And if you guys remember, we were talking about this, like, what's rebellion are we talking about? Rebellion has been around. What's so special about this rebellion? Right? So if you check out the other study, we'll go more in depth on that. An insolent king, skilled in intrigue, will come to the throne. His power will be great, but it will not be his own. He will cause terrible destruction and succeed at whatever he does. He will destroy the mighty men with the holy people through his craft and by his hand. He will cause deceit to prosper, and in his own mind he will make himself great. In a time of peace he will destroy many, and he will even stand against the prince of princes. Yet he will be broken off, but not by human hands. And then Daniel 11:36-39 says, then the king will do as he pleases and will exalt and magnify himself over every god. And he will speak monstrous things against the God of gods. He will be successful until the time of wrath is completed. For what has been decreed must be accomplished. He will show no regard for the gods of his fathers, nor for the one desired by women, nor for any other god, because he will magnify himself above them all. And in their place, he will honor a god of fortresses, a god his fathers did not know, with gold, silver, precious stones, and riches. Daniel 11:36-39 pretty much tells us, I guess, why Cain wouldn't be the man of lawlessness, if that's who Daniel was talking about. Seems to kind of match the profile of these things that he's going to do. We square those up. It's like, okay, yeah, the man of lawlessness. When he's called that, it seems like he does the same thing. All right? So I guess this would kind of rule out Cain, why he wouldn't be the man of lawlessness. There was only one earthly father before Cain. Cain didn't have an earthly grandfather or a great grandfather. So there was no plurality from whom Cain descended from, only Adam and Eve. The man of lawlessness will show no regard for the God of his fathers. So the word used for God is Elohe, from Elohim. This refers to gods. Some translations may even may say the God of his the gods of his fathers. Okay? But in this context, this is not referring to other forces or entities as gods. The context refers to the Trinity of God. So the man of lawlessness will be the son of fathers who followed God. Okay? So the following sentence lets us know that his fathers followed God, because the following says that he had no regard for any other gods. So these are my speculations, what I've gathered so far in reading through here. I would like to, see what you guys might have gathered. If you guys have been studying this chapter as well, and have made some speculations about who it would be, let's see what we could bring to the table, y'all, and see if it squares up with the word. And Paul says that we know.
Yeah.
I don't think Paul's a liar. The information's got to be in there somewhere. So, we try and see what we got. Because here's the thing, y'all. As I said before, the man of lawlessness, we're not going to find out who that is. All right? If there's a restrainer and he's put there, and I reckon if he's placed there, he's really effective at his job, and we ain't getting around that firewall. You know what I'm saying? We ain't hacking into there. But Paul says the restrainer is known. Okay. Well, I ain't trying to let Paul be a liar. Let's find out who he is. Because I would also say that the man of lawlessness is going to be here in a time, I guess, when he's revealed. He's going to be revealed at a time that we don't want to be here for anyway.
Yeah.
I don't really care to know who the man of lawlessness is. I don't want to find out here. All right, maybe if the Lord pulls us up and we can find out from there, that's great. But I don't want to be here when he's revealed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's important, y'all, the bottom line is that what's important is that we know who the Redeemer is. That's the thing. If we got that straight, then we good. Mm-hmm. That's way more important than knowing who the man of lawlessness is. So he can go ahead and keep his little secret. I don't care. Stay in the closet, whatever. And whatever. Hopefully we won't be here.
Right.
Okay. So what is anybody?
Yeah, Hardboiled Entertainment actually has a good thought here. He says, "Hey Zo, I'm of the mindset that Satan always sets up an antichrist for every time period, Hitler being one, for example. But God always intervenes and destroys that man because God decides the time."
Fair point, because the word tells us that these antichrists are multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's more than one.
Yeah.
So the antichrists have been coming on the scene for generations. So yeah, fair point. And Hitler was basically not just the antichrist; he was a continuation of Haman, if you will. And
Yes.
Hitler, I think a lot of people they associate Hitler with white supremacy. And that was white supremacy. Hitler, bottom line, was evil. But white supremacy, I don't know if it was like the big motivation of Hitler. Hitler's his fanaticism was Aryanism. And so speaking of Hitler being the next Haman, Hitler, like I said, his fanaticism was for the Aryan nation. Aryans are Persians. That's who the Aryans are, or you might know them by another name, Iranians. Those are your Aryans, right? That's who Hitler had a big fascination with, and he wanted to continue with the basically the wiping out of the Jews. Mm-hmm. So with Hitler being this antichrist, who wanted to destroy the nation that the Messiah would come through. And particularly, like the Jews, and the Jews being, you have as religious Jews and Jews as a nation, the tribe of Judah. And, people try to say that Hitler was a Christian and stuff like that. And it's like, no, yeah. He was an occultist. He wasn't a Christian. He wouldn't be a very good Christian if he's trying to kill the Jews. He'd have to acknowledge that his king is a Jew. So that ain't gonna work. But at any rate, yeah, great observation, man. That's it.
I don't know if you want to talk about the subjects from last week: purgatory, Kirk Cameron, eternal hell. Is it eternal?
We're kind of cataloging these things. We're seeing these assertions that people are making, and we are basically in after study party mode right now.
Yes.
All right. So if to answer the question, hey, is there going to be an after party? We're in it. We're in it right now, And this time, the after party pinata is going to be this thought of we're going to go with Kirk Cameron. I guess that's kind of like the thing that's been in
Still in the news.
It's still in the news. Kirk Cameron is what is he, annihilationist now?
Yes, but let's keep in mind, Hardboiled Entertainment did say, and I listened to the interview, or the show that he did with his son, and I do know that he said this. Hardboiled Entertainment says Kirk Cameron did say he wants to hear out anyone who can lay out how he's wrong on this.
Okay.
So he is open. He's not firm in being an annihilationist.
All right. Well,
But he's
I
certainly
guess
leaning
that's
towards it.
kind of a step in the right direction. It's not so much us that you need to hear. Just read the Bible out loud, and you will hear what you need to hear. But hey, since He's given us the invitation, and we're trusting, Lord, for your resolve, and I hope, Lord, that you give us sound perspective.
Yes.
On these things.
I do have a few of the scriptures pulled up that he used to argue his points. We won't go over all of them, but
give me
if you
some.
want a couple.
Yeah, what's he got?
So this one, Revelation 20:20. Did we just do that one?
No.
Yeah, I feel like we did. But he has a different point. We did, but he has a different point. And so the devil who deceived them was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur where the beast and the false prophet are. So the devil, the beast, and the false prophet are. And they will be tormented day and night forever and ever. Now, Kirk Cameron argues that's the devil, the beast, and the false prophet. That's not us.
Okay, but here's the thing: in annihilationism, if he's leaning towards annihilationism, y'all, they believe that even the devil gets annihilated. All right, the devil, the beast, anybody who's thrown into the lake of fire, they're all annihilated. That's what they believe. And you got to be careful, Kirk, because annihilationism is a perspective that's shared by, like the Millerites.
Yeah.
Those who set up the Great Disappointment. Jesus is coming, you don't want to be. That's like occultism kind of stuff.
It is.
Millerites, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists, Catholics, right? You have these people who believe that annihilationism is, that is, I don't even know, according to their feelings, not according to the scripture. Because even Kirk Cameron said, I can't imagine.
Yes, he said, we're here for a second. He said, we're here for a second. We do our sinning. I can't imagine a God that would be so vindictive as to have us burn for eternity and suffer for eternity for the split second that we were here sinning.
All right, so let's talk about one, imagine. The Lord is beyond our imaginations.
Yes.
We're not even supposed to imagine God. Those are words that shouldn't even be used together. Okay, because imagination starts with engraving an image. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So let's not shape a God according to our sentiments. That's your first mistake. All right, so with all due respect. Now, when you're talking about us being here for a second, okay, dig this, man. You're saying, like, arguments would be like, I can't imagine a God that would have somebody burn in hell forever. All right, now here's the thing. Whether you sin little or sin big, okay? Whether you sin little or whether you sin big, hell is the same place for everybody. But see, here's the thing, Cameron. Whether you sin little or sin big, everybody dies.
Yeah.
Even that doesn't seem fair now, does it?
Yeah.
Right? As the saying goes, nobody here gets out alive. And nobody gets away with nothing. So you can be all goody two shoes and live a life that's you got a great reputation and you've done right and all that sort of stuff. You sin little. Hardly at all. You don't be slandering anybody. You ain't stole from people. You ain't murdered nobody. No adultery. You live honorably and give your parents a good name and all that sort of stuff. You know, and go to church and all that stuff. Still gonna die. You know what I'm saying? And the same way, everybody's got the death penalty, Cameron. Everybody's got the death penalty. Everybody dies. Kind of sucks, right? And you know what? And we all die. Why? Because of the sins of two people. Well, that seems kind of,
wow.
I guess I can't imagine a God that would be so mean and petty and so vindictive that he would make all of us die. Children, babies, man. Some babies get ripped out from the womb.
Yeah.
They don't even get to enjoy their first steps or nothing like that. They get killed. You know, people getting killed in the prime of their life. People getting maimed. Famine, wars, disease, torture, all that sort of stuff that we got to go through, all because of the sins of two people. Well, that doesn't seem fair now, does it, Cameron? Come on, man. But the thing is, I guess it could have been any of us, right? We can't just sit there and look at Adam and Eve, you know, be like, man, you know, you guys are stupid. Probably could have been any of us, you know? And you know, that's getting into a whole nother thing. God, and the long story short is, God is justified in this process.
Yes.
Right? We've seen in the scriptures like, Lord, okay, we got it, man. Sir, sorry, sir, we got it. You know, we trust in you, and we understand why it is that you're doing what you're doing. You know, we don't want to die. We don't want to go through this stuff, but we understand. You know, we're trusting in you that you've prepared that place. You know, we don't have to do this stuff anymore. You know, but all that to say, Karen, you know, just look at the fact that everybody is basically, you know, got the death penalty waived, is hanging over us. Okay, now let's get to that hell part. In the meantime, because according to annihilationism, it's the final judgment. And in this final judgment, you know, people will just be annihilated. Satan, the devil, and I guess I would question, you know, the assertion about where the beast and the false prophet go and Satan, because that alone tells you that the lake of fire is not a place of annihilation. Because if the beast and the false prophet are there waiting for Satan to be thrown in, wouldn't they have been annihilated already? No, they're it's where they are. He will be tossed in where they are.
Yeah.
And possibly, and by the way, you might have heard of this thing called everlasting chains of darkness. You'll be chained up forever.
Yep.
All right. When we talk about the destruction of the fear of the one who can destroy both the body and soul. And y'all, I'm not trying to be abrasive against Kirk Cameron. Forgive me. It's not that. The reason why if I sound irked by this is because of the stumbling block that
Indeed.
this presents. I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, because this is very dangerous language and a very dangerous perspective you're going with, Kirk. That's why it's like, look, man, this really troubles me. All right, we'll get there in a second. But it's not so much about God being petty, God being vindictive. It isn't God's being vengeful or vindictive against them. It's about who's been vengeful, vindictive, and unforgiving of him. The people who will be thrown in the lake of fire are the people who don't forgive God. It's not about God being vindictive against them. The vengeance is his and the vengeance is justified, but it's the people who had hated him. They did this to themselves. I mean, come on, man. If the warning is, look, if you're going to stay in your sin, man, you know that's going to cost you eternal torment, right? And you do it anyway, dude, you deserve to go there. You going to test God like that? You going to mock God like that? See, man, here's the thing. It ain't about whether your sin is little or sin is big and you go to the lake of fire. Listen, man, this is what it comes down to. What it comes down to is, man, do you accept the truth or not? That's really what it's about. Do you accept or do you reject the truth? What does this look like? What this looks like is this. Hades has to give up the dead, man. People be wanting proof. They want proof. They want truth. It's like, okay, you want proof and truth? You've been dead. I have brought you back to life. You were dead. You know you were dead. I have brought you back. Where was your gods? Where was your science? Where was anything, a philosophy that you gained into? Where was the technology, whichever, that was able to facilitate that? Nothing came to your rescue. I did. I came and I brought you back from death. I'm the one who holds the keys. I am the one who causes Hades and the sea and hell to give up death. You want more than that? I brought you back. And if you were in hell, I brought you back from there too. I brought you back. What you got to say now? Because here's the thing. If I brought you back, you're immortal now. You see what I'm saying? You're immortal. I have brought you back. I restored you to the state of immortality. And I ain't going to take that away from you anymore. See, I took that away from mankind once. And I told mankind, I will restore it. I restored your immortality. Now, what you want to do, careful with your selection, baby, because you're immortal now. You understand? You hearing that part? You're immortal now. We are raised imperishable, incorruptible. Our flesh cannot be given over to decay anymore. It can't be corrupted. Corrupted by decay, if you will. Corrupted by the laws of nature. Entropy will have no effect. All right? So that being the case, man, what you gonna do? You're gonna take Christ. This is the last, this is it, man. I brought you back. I brought you back from your first death. What you want to do? I don't choose. But the thing is, they're going to want their own truth, man. They're going to want their own truth. And they say, I still reject you. I want my own truth. So, okay. Burn in your own truth then. There ain't no place else for you to go.
Yeah.
There's no place else. Because see, as I've used the analogy before, y'all, it's like the earth in the sun. Okay? Now, somehow, miraculously, like take a look at Mercury. Mercury has been in the presence of the sun for I don't know how long. It hadn't burned away yet. It's still there. All right? And don't get me wrong, because at some point, nature's gonna, but just to give you an idea, Mercury's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's still there, just a hot rock right there up against the sun. Okay? Now, what's the lake of fire like? What would the lake of fire be like? Lake of fire would be like this. Well, you got the earth. And the earth, let's say, has the covering of Christ. Okay? In its proximity to the sun, the earth doesn't get burned away. It's got this atmosphere. It's got a magnetosphere deflecting the solar, the solar winds. All right? It's got these things going for it to protect it. That's kind of like the covering of Christ. So if you don't want to take Christ as your intercessor, it's like you don't want to acknowledge him as your, like, man, it's your last chance to acknowledge who Christ is. You don't want to defend yourself in court. You don't want to do that. Take Christ as your intercessor. He's a heck of a lawyer. All right? But if you don't, well, that's like removing the covering and removing the atmosphere from the earth. And the earth will burn in the sun's light. Christ means, like, okay, man, I'm going to step you up. I'm going to just go ahead and step out of the way.
Yep.
All right? I am the God that you want to be able to see. I am the God that you can see. All right? You don't want to stand in the presence of the unseen God without my covering. And part of the reason why you can't see him is because the second you lay your eyes on him, on that light of truth, you ain't going to be able to handle it, not without my covering. All right? I'm God. I'm your priest. All right? But if I step out of the way, man, and you see that aspect of the Trinity, it ain't going to go well for you. So what am I saying here? You are now immortal. Without my covering, you're going to go to the lake of fire. God is an all-consuming fire. God is a wellspring of water. All right? This lake of fire is basically the presence of God. And without the covering of Christ, it's a lake of fire. Eternal. All right? You will be separate. You will be apart from God. But at the same time, but God is omnipresent. But you on the wrong side of God at this point. And God, who is that wellspring of water, he's living water, y'all. And you are immortal now. And you will drink and drown in that water forever. He's an all-consuming fire. And you'll burn in that lake forever. You've been made immortal now. There is no annihilation. All right? Man, you think Jesus is going to get up on that cross and go through all that trouble that he went through just to save you from what? Not existing anymore? No. That would be a waste of Jesus' time and blood, man. All the suffering is like, what, that wouldn't be, not existing anymore isn't really, and this is the point of contention that I really have about this, y'all. People trying to say that you just cease to exist. And also, in the meantime, where are you? While you're waiting to be annihilated. Because remember, y'all, there's going to be people out there who do not want God. They want their own truth. It ain't going to work out for them. But y'all, my point of contention is it gives people less pause, less reservation about suicide. That's what it really comes down to. See, hell is one of those things that gives people pause when it comes to taking their own life. Will God forgive me? Is this forgivable? And by the way, y'all, suicide is not forgivable. Self-sacrifice is forgivable. Like, say, for instance, if you dive over a grenade or something like that to protect others and things like that. Self-sacrifice. As one would lay, the highest form of love is to lay down your life for a friend. Okay? That's not suicide. That's self-sacrifice to save others. All right, but suicide is never excusable. Don't think for a second that it is. Anybody who tries to tell you that suicide is excusable, in some cases, it's not. Don't listen to people like that. They're setting you up for hell. Because Jesus, the way the Lord looks at it is that you have put your trust in death. You did not put your trust in me. You looked to death to liberate you. You did not look to me. But if people if they're convinced that hell isn't where they go, and instead, I will just go to nothing. I just won't exist anymore. Do you realize how much more attractive that sounds to people?
Yeah.
With suicidal ideation? Heck, if I was convinced that there was nothing, there's a time in my life where I would have offed myself. If I was convinced that there was nothing. Do you realize what you're setting people up for with this philosophy? That people could be convinced that, hey, man, I may not go to heaven, but at least I won't go to hell. I just won't exist anymore. Hey, man, it's a great sell. So please prayerfully rethink that. Please prayerfully rethink that. Where, you're going to have people who will stand before God and choose to not follow him. Yeah, there's going to be people who are going to lay eyes on him. They're going to see the Lord. They will see him. You don't think that people ain't going to choose to be apart from him? Angels did it. That's why we had this great big spiritual war. Lucifer was chief of worship, highest cherub, man. He stood in the presence of God, turned away from him.
Yeah.
Took a bunch of angels with him. You think humans ain't going to do the same thing, even with their immortality? He's going to restore all that to bring you to the point. It's like, dude, I've been the truth. I told you I was going to do this. I have the power to do this. I have given you the evidence. You still don't want none? You still think you can do better than me? You think that your truth is beyond who the real truth is? Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, you're going to burn forever in that. That's not God being victim, man. That's justice. That's total justice. When a person's been warned, man, once again, man, that's where the big point of contention is. Like, man, you've been warned about this and you would still do. Look, man, annihilationism, dude, that's not something to really be. Come on, man. Annihilation isn't something to really be afraid of. You may not go to heaven, but at least you don't go to hell.
Yeah.
And you just thought, man, you got a whole bunch of people that say, man, I would just go ahead and YOLO and live however I want to live, and I don't have to live for God. I just go ahead and live for my own truth and live it up and do whatever I want to do. And if I can't live that way in heaven, because you got a lot of people, man, who want to indulge. They want to do what they want to do. All right? And if in heaven, serving God, to a lot of people, man, that's not living. I don't want to be some flipping angel with a harp, on a cloud and some strumming all day and not. I want to party, man. I want to smoke weed, and I want to have a whole bunch of sex, and I want to do drugs, and I want to do whatever I want to do. I want. This is how I want to live life. I don't want to live for God. I want to live for me. And if I can't do that, I would rather not live at all. So there is no threat, man. That is nothing that scares them. I may not go to heaven, but at least I won't go to hell. I'd just rather not exist anymore. Yeah, dude, you got people who are like that, multitudes of people who would be like that. And you're entertaining that. So that makes you a stumbling block. I hope you realize that, yeah, man, God is just in his vindication. He's just in that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is in his vengeance. He says, vengeance is mine. When I got to throw down, man, I'm going to throw down. And when I do, and God is a just God. It's like, look, man, you had no excuse. You had no excuse to be apart from what I've said and bring the kind of things that you have brought into this world because you want your own truth. Look what it does. It's like, oh yeah, you're going to pay for this forever. I warned you would pay forever. And I'm a man of my word.
Yes.
All right. And you still want to try me? You want to test me on this? Okay. So yeah, I would rethink that, man. There's nothing, annihilationism is not, that's not the real deterrent, man. Annihilation isn't a deterrent, man. It's more of an invitation, really. It's an invitation to be apart from God. So, please prayerfully rethink that.
That is very unfortunate, and I was not considering that at all. And there are plenty, if you guys just want to type in scriptures on hell being eternal, there are plenty of them that come up and use the words eternal punishment, forever and ever, those phrases.
Come on, the book of Jude.
Yeah.
The Jude will tell you straight up, and why it is. You want to be a pervert? You will suffer the same fate as the angels who left their first station. And if y'all, I know we got some military folk in here. You can't just leave your post.
Right.
It is speaking in military terms as far as that goes. The angels that left they abandoned their post. They left their station. Their station, their angel means messengers. Their position was truth. You are supposed to message in truth. You abandon your post. Abandoning your post, man, that can come with some serious penalties. Well, they did that. And the penalty for that is eternal damnation, lake of fire. That's where you go. You ain't coming back from that. And those who want to be perverts, like they had in Sodom and Gomorrah and stuff like that, you go to the same place. Okay? Now, for the record, y'all, they weren't doing the same things. A lot of people think that, well, right. the angels, they were going and they were in Sodom and Gomorrah and they were doing the same things. No. They weren't doing the same thing. Their punishment is the same. Read it again. The punishment, where they go, is the same place. Yeah. Angels would be sent to the lake of fire because they abandoned their post. In like manner, those who are seeking strange flesh and all that sort of stuff and doing all this perversion, they will go to the same place. Their sin ain't the same. Where they go is the same. All right? So people say, well, no, the angels were going and they were seeking strange flesh. And I said, no. It tells you in Genesis what the angels were after. They weren't after strange flesh. They were after the daughters of men. They wanted the women.
Right.
All right? They saw pretty girls, and that was their motivation, and that's where that went. So whether you think they were good or evil, that's one thing, but don't try to turn them and make their sin, if you want to call it that, something that it wasn't when it told you exactly what their motivation was.
Yes.
All right? So at any rate, y'all, what else we got?
That was pretty much it, unless if you wanted to go into purgatory tonight.
Ooh,
That guy for next week.
yeah, we want to have some cliffhangers here. Yeah, so who do we see so far? And I guess we're going to try to compile these things to defend. Hopefully we can. We want to do our part, man, to defend the scriptures and protect against these assertions that people have that just aren't biblical. Like in one we saw was a person saying, a Catholic priest making a case of why they pray to Mary. I was like, oh, dude, seriously, that's your argument? That ain't even good. People or making an argument for purgatory, saying how purgatory is biblical. It's like, no, you got some fancy arguments there, man, but none of them are. I'm sorry, that ain't gonna work on the kid. It's not gonna work on us here. What else was there?
Sandy has a situation that's pertinent to what we're talking about. She said, my sister OD'd 4 months ago, but she was taken to the hospital in time. Okay. I don't know if that's what caused her death now. I don't know if an autopsy will be done. I couldn't even say goodbye to her. So I think a lot of us know somebody who has that kind of situation. And you wonder, like I have a family member, you wonder, where are they? And how can you have, is there any sort of peace? I mean, giving it over to God gives you peace, but what is the peace that we can tell her about?
Father in heaven, help us to understand and give us correct comfort. You said that you send the comforter, Lord, so we're trusting in you that you are the comfort, and comfort comes in understanding. When we don't understand things, we're uncomfortable.
Yes.
And we trust in you to give us correct comfort, not some pseudo comfort. We trust in you to give us the real deal. So we trust in you, Father, to help us, put these things in perspective. I would say when you have people, there are evil people, okay? And there's people who are willfully apart from God. In that instance, a person who passes away, most likely they're just dropped right down there. They just go right there. And yeah, y'all, doing pharmakia, doing drugs is evil. It is evil. It's an evil thing to do to oneself. There are people who, they want to get free. They want to quit. And I think the Lord takes that into account. But it is a form of, when a person is abusing themselves with alcohol, the Lord does tell us, don't be given over to drunkenness. And It is a way of abusing yourself. It's like a self-flagellation. You're destroying yourself, which the Lord does not dig. And if a person keeps on doing it, the Lord is like, he just takes it. It gets to a point where it's like, you know what? You're willfully apart from me.
Yes.
It's like at some point I can't be like, gauging you on your intentions. As we conservatives say, look, man, it's not the intentions that matter, it's the results.
Right.
And God's like, man, I want the results. We can't just be going by your intentions all the time. And when a person does this abuse to a point where it takes their life, as we were talking about suicide just a minute ago, trying to be delicate about this, y'all, but there's kind of no way to tiptoe around it.
Yeah.
When a person ODs, yeah, that's a form of suicide. It's where you looking to the Lord for this, for your refuge, for your freedom, for liberation. When you looking to Him. But if people are looking to drugs, then that's what they were looking to, and they were looking to death, to freedom.
Yeah.
Pharmakia is in tandem with death.
What you told me one time, and I did use it on somebody who was considering the option of ending it. You told me, and they considered themselves a Christian, so this was very sound advice that I used to talk to them. You told me that suicide is trusting in death rather than trusting in Christ.
Right. what does he say of himself? I'm the life.
Yes.
Do you trust in life or do you trust in death? If you trust in death, then to death you will go.
Correct. Yes.
And death is a prison. Okay? So all that to say, now what happens to a person? One, let's square this up first. There is no purgatory. All right, God is pretty black and white. You're either with me or you're not. But I would say this though. I would say this. Let me rephrase that. I would ask this. Is this a fair thought? Upon a person dying, let's say if they're not like a person out there committing evil against others.
Right.
And it doesn't, whether you're atheist or whether you're religious, Catholic or even Mormon or Islamic, you're a religious person, which God doesn't dig. It's like you don't need a religion between you and me.
Right.
Right. All you need is me. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you want to do those, you want to live by those things, but you try to live a decent life. And upon passing away, is it possible that the Lord is there? And a person is asked, look, man, you've passed away. And now you're here. Now, what you want to do? Do you now understand that I'm the truth? You have consciousness now. You're not in your body. You won't be reunited with your body until the resurrection and the rapture, but you are conscious. And you can have your consciousness here with me, or you can have your consciousness in hell. And your soul will experience things. Spirits experience things, y'all. They experience sensations. Mm-hmm. All right? Spirits eat. They can smell things. They can walk around. They experience sensations. They can experience pain. All right? So even as spirit, even as a soul, sensations, whether good or bad, can still be felt. So God is like, look, you're here now, and your consciousness is experiencing me right now. Do you accept the truth? Y'all, some people will be like, okay, yeah. And maybe in God's mercy, a person has that opportunity that they will see the Lord and be like, okay, can I stay here? Maybe it works out like that. But y'all, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised that some people may die and be like, they may try to rationalize the experience. I don't believe you're God. I don't believe it. I don't know what I'm experiencing right now, but I don't think you're it. And there's just not enough proof to them that'll be happening. You may have some people, like say for instance, if they're Islamic, it's like, well, I'm sorry, I don't want you. I want my 72 virgins.
Right.
Right? Or you may have some Mormons that are going to say, well, okay, that's all well and good. That you're okay. You're great. That's great, Jesus. When can I have my own planet now? Jesus be like, man, there's no, you don't get your own planet. You know, so, I don't know where you got that from. That's what I kind of do, but you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But here's an opportunity right now. Do you understand where you are? You know, well, no, I want my planet. Okay, well, there's an, you can go ahead and, you know. There's a nice hot planet for you, or whichever. There's Venus. You can go ahead and pretend hell is Venus. How about that? You can have Venus, right? So, or you may have, you know, Catholics. You know, they get there and it's like, oh great, Jesus, hi, Jesus, nice to meet you. Where's Mary? Mm-hmm. You know, we'd really like to meet her. You know, where's she at? You know, you see what I'm saying? So maybe. But or any of them, it could be, whether it's Islam, Mormonism, Catholics, they might get there and set aside any of those preconceived notions and be like, oh, you know what? Okay, I was wrong. I see that you're Jesus. You've always been the truth. I am very sorry. I repent. I let go of all those other things that I thought. I want to serve you. Can I stay here with you? right? And maybe, the Lord's just like, let's go. Or, like I said, it might be the latter. They may just want to stick to their other notions and traditions and sentiments and all that sort of stuff. And to hell they go. Ain't no purgatory. There's no purgatory. So, and once again, y'all, I'm just offering a speculation. For what I've examined in the scriptures, is that within the scope of the character of God? Possibly. Is there anything that says that, what's the word I'm looking for? Explicitly? No. So I wouldn't be like, that's the way it is. And no, I would not, make that kind of conclusion. It's something I posit. But I think it's a fair thing to consider. It's like, God, is that how that works? Because some people, I would say also this, it might be very off-putting to some where God doesn't grant such a consideration. Some people who just, like say let me put it like this. What about some people who have not heard? The Bible talks about this.
Yeah.
People who have not heard and they die. Where do they go? Do they automatically go to hell because they didn't know Jesus? God is a just God. You didn't know Jesus. Okay? You didn't know him. If you didn't know him, well, how can you know who saved you? How can you know who to worship? How do you automatically get to go to heaven? Well, I wonder, y'all, if that person dies, does Jesus reveal himself to them and say, look, you may not have known me, but I am your creator. I'm going to let you know who it is. I'm going to let you know who I am right now. Do you believe it? Or do you want to stick with your pagan gods? Or do you want to stick with what they'd be like, no. And not only that, it's like it knows, Lord knows the heart. The Lord knows who would have accepted him or not. He knows. So upon the chance of meeting him, it's like, look, man, I've seen you have a good heart. I'm the guy. You may not have heard my name. You may not have known me. But I'm going to tell you who I am. You believe it? Yeah, I believe it. Right? Okay, let's go. So it's, for people who have not known God for who he says he is, but tried to live a decent life, being fair and, considerate of people and things like that, and not try to cause trouble and whatnot, but didn't really follow God for who he says he is. Upon their passing, these may be things that God takes into consideration. I'm going to give you an opportunity to know me right now. What you want to do. And those who rejected God and just basically put themselves in hell, God will let them out again, for he holds the keys. Okay? I'm going to let you out. And we're going to have this judgment. Everybody's got a court date. I've raised you up. You're immortal. You're reunited with your body. Your body you are body and soul now. Imperishable, incorruptible. Your body will never be corrupted by decay. How about that, man? That's a sweet deal, right? It doesn't get any better than that. You are above the laws of nature now. The laws of nature do not apply. You are above the laws of gravity, time and space, entropy. None of these laws of nature affect you anymore. You're only really bound by the moral law now. And if you don't want to stick with the moral law, then, there's no place for you in my kingdom. What you want to do? Right? You got all the proof now. I'm the truth. I'm the one who can make it happen. What you want to do? Okay. Well, you can take that immortal behind y'all that you got, and you can just go ahead, be immortal down there in the chasm that separates you from me. And that person will never die. And these people will curse God forever. Mm-hmm. Gnash teeth, weep, and all that sort of stuff, and cussing at God forever. It ain't about our imaginations, y'all. It's what's written. And like I said, it's logical. If you're made immortal, then that's just the way it is. Well, the body says, the Lord says, Be afraid of the one who can destroy both the body and soul.
Yes.
Where? In hell. Okay? Destroy both body and soul in hell. What does that mean? Destroy does not mean annihilated in the way that you think that you don't exist anymore. It means that you no longer have a purpose. That's what that means. You'll still have life. You won't have any purpose. Your life's been destroyed. Your soul is destroyed. It will serve no more purpose. That doesn't mean you're not existing anymore. Your purpose doesn't exist anymore, but your life does. All right? So when we talk about destroying somebody's life, you destroy their career, you destroy their reputation. It doesn't mean that they're dead. All right? So in this, when the body and soul is destroyed in hell, it just means this person has no more purpose anymore. But they're going to be aware of every second of it for eternity. So why is it fair? Because the problems that the godless cause, those who want to be apart from God and be rebellious against God, is caused us a lot of problems. But once again, y'all, it isn't so much about the sin, the magnitude of the sin. It's the rejection of the truth. God is going to show them. It's like, dude, this is it, man. It doesn't get any more evident than this. Their hard-headedness, their hard-heartedness. That's really what it comes down to. You could be the goodest person on planet Earth. It doesn't matter. If you think that you're too good for God and you don't see him as the truth, that's the thing that makes hell. Doesn't matter. You could be the sweetest old lady and all that sort of stuff, but that sweet old lady feels like, I don't need God. I'm a good person on my own. I don't want to follow God. I don't want to believe God or anything like that. I don't want to answer to him. Well, that's the kind of thing that gets a person thrown in hell forever. God's like, okay, see if you can save yourself from that. Yeah. Anyway.
High Mileage Husband has a very sweet comment. He says, of all the hardships and losses I have endured, I am so blessed to have you guys to fellowship. Love y'all.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Hey.
Love you back.
That's right, man. Love you back, and yeah, that blesses us.
Yeah,
that blesses us, man. And that that was heartfelt. He didn't even attach nothing naughty to that.
I know, right?
I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. I'm waiting for the naughty shoe to drop. Don't leave us hanging, High Mileage. But keep it PG-13
yes,
if you decide
please.
to fire one at.
or PG, no, rated G.
Rated?
G rated.
Nah, we push the limits of PG-13 up in here, man.
No.
Right on, man. Yeah, that thank you. That made our night, man. That made our night.
Y'all leave Cranky alone.
Oh, I can hardly wait to read what those are. You're Cranky, you've become a real trooper putting up with us.
Yes, she has. A real trooper.
Thank you so much. Very, very gracious. You dealing with us knuckleheads. And as long as you know that, we love the Lord and we want to do what's right by him. And, we're thankful that we serve a party God who kind of lets us cut loose a little bit. And he is a party God. He makes it the law. Right? He makes it the law to party.
When you say that, what do you mean, the party God?
Hey, he's appointed festivals. I mean, I got 7 festivals, man. I want y'all to celebrate, man, bust out with them horns, get some music going. You know what I'm saying? I want some drinks and some barbecue. We're gonna get it going, man. We're gonna liven it up. And but if I see anybody falling out drunk though, man, we're gonna have issues. Party proper, man. No party fouls.
No, we'll have how does it say, his word written on our hearts, inscribed on our hearts? We won't have to worry about disobeying, hopefully.
And that's the thing about it, y'all. That is the ultimate free will choice.
Yes.
It's the ultimate. It's like, hey, you know what, Lord? You know what I want to do with my free will? Hand it over to you.
Yes, me too.
You go ahead and tattoo that bad boy on my heart, and help me to stay squared up with you. I don't want to ever step out of line with you, and if you gotta go ahead and scratch that in there, you go ahead and do it. That's what I use my free will for. I'm giving you. I have info. what is that? What's that word I'm looking for? I give informed consent, to what we're doing here. I understand the terms of agreement. They're way more comprehensive than flipping Apple's terms of agreement, and much more fun to read. And let's just go ahead and do that.
Yes. I'm checking Facebook real quick. Other than that, you can get us out of here.
All right. Hey, well, folks, thank you guys so much tuning in on the YouTubes, on my website, Bronze Serpent Media, or on the Facebooks. Thank you guys. BronzeSerpentMedia.com. If you haven't become a member yet, it's your first time, checking out our study. Feel free to become a member. Drop that buck in the bucket to keep your bro Zoe on the go. Oh, what's up?
I'm sorry, we do have a comment. You know my phone. Do you want me to save it for next week? It's pertinent to our discussion this evening.
Okay.
It's from Facebook, Harry Taupe. Good talk. However, the witch of Endor that Saul used to try and talk to Samuel would suggest that it is possible to talk to dead folks. 1 Samuel 28:3-5.
Oh yeah, hey, great point. And thank you for putting that in there. We have discussed that before. Man, I will try to keep this very short, but in doing so, I know that would probably spark a lot of engagement, because it would sound like I'm leaving a whole lot of things out. But if we examine that carefully, she never summoned him. When the apparition showed up, there was no conjuring. She did. He was already on his way. Okay, so there was no offering made, no ritual, no conjuring, and she was freaked out. Okay, and then we have to consider how the apparition made himself visible, and then the implications of the apparition appearing and who Saul was asking about being seen. So there's things going on, and forgive me, y'all, because I don't want to make it sound like a cop out now. I'm trying to, and it makes it sound like a cop out because I'm keeping this short, because we've already gone a little long and stuff like that. And I don't want to, wear out my welcome, man. We want to keep people watching more and stuff like that. But we can talk, but if we stay tuned, or actually maybe what I can do is maybe I'll leave a link to the study that we've done on it.
Yeah.
Because hey, it's a fair point.
Yep.
I'm just saying that there's some other things to consider. Considering the apparition of Samuel, right? I think I keep saying Saul, but when Saul asked for Samuel to be seen, the apparition, there's some questionable details in there if that was actually Saul that they were talking. Samuel that they were talking to.
Okay, gotcha. That's good.
And that's not to say that it was a familiar. We won't get into how the apparition was supposed to, who it might have been. But all I'm saying is examine it again, starting with, was Saul even conjured? Because he was already, Samuel, sorry, I keep wanting to say that. Sam, was he even conjured? There was no conjuring. He was already on his way. All right, so anyway, but thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I like that, good.
All right, folks, thank you guys so much. Hey, I'll remind folks, and I don't want to do this around, it's already the holidays. You guys already want to give your presents for your loved ones and all that sort of stuff. And then we got January, people, maybe taking their gifts back and recovering from the stuff that they bought. But as you guys know, Apple has forced Patreon to not do per content donation anymore. It's subscriber based. So because they've done that, our Patreon take has been cut by 3/4, right? I mean, it's now a quarter of what it was. So really, I want to get away from Patreon. I prefer folks. Any way that y'all wanted to contribute is how you do it. I'm grateful either way. But Cornerstone is the preferred way. It's a Christian-owned and operated payment transfer system.
And that's through the website.
Yeah, that's through the website. So just something to keep in mind, y'all. We're already grateful for it is that y'all do. I know that y'all got you're already gonna be. You got your Christmas going on. The Christmas present to us from Apple and Patreon is that they cut our income by 3/4. All right, so thanks a lot, Apple.
Thank you, Apple and Patreon.
Flipping Grinch. And so at any rate, but hey, we got the Lord, and we know the Lord's going to set things straight. And so just something, to keep in mind. And, prayers appreciated that we can, get back in recovering that, that 3/4 chunk that was taken out by them forcing us to be subscriber-based now instead of content creation-based.
And that's monthly. We've lost 3/4 of our income monthly now because of the greed of liberal corporations that we have to rely on.
Right? Yeah. And I thought they were supposed to be the champions against greed, but no.
Right.
At any rate, y'all, thank you guys so much. Hey, Father in heaven, thank you so much for blessing us with this study. We hoping that it was a blessing to you. We hope that we have spoken in school with you, Lord, and said what is, right in your sight, wise in your eyes, Lord. And, we want to do our part in pointing people to you and be, pragmatic and give the word that's applicable and that is sound for right living. And more important, that people see you in the scriptures for who you've always said that you've been.
Yes.
And for y'all, our ZOpium denizens, our study buddies, hey, as ever, the Lord's blessing, his fortification, his love, his joy to y'all, his resolve. We be going through things. This is earth, it ain't heaven. Things, drop on us or we fall into some things. And we're trusting the Lord to help us keep on getting back up and going through it because we trust in him that he's made that place. We're going to hang on to him because he's made that place where, these hardships, it'd be a total thing in the past. So we trust in you, Lord. We're going to hang on to you. Thank you so much, y'all. Thank you, Lord. And hey, let's do it again soon sometime, God willing. Good night.